At any rate, I guess it's just going to be that way. Today I want to talk about guitar picks. Oh, before I forget, thank you to X5 for the wireless system of which you developed. This is a cool wireless system. Also, if you want your voice to go from this to this, oh, what flavor is this? Honey lemon. Maybe I should have read that first. Clear voice is a cool thing to have, should you need voicings that is clear. So anyway, guitar picks. I want to talk about guitar picks. I want to talk about the ones that I use. So I use 4 main guitar picks. I'll tell you why I use each one. The one I started to use a long time ago, I don't have anymore. The first guitar pick I ever used was a Fender Medium, and it was pink. I used the pink because no one else used pink, and the Fender Medium was just because I didn't know any different. I just assumed if I go somewhere between light and heavy, I might get the best of both worlds. And that's what I used for the longest time. At some point then, I realized that the Fender Medium was not the thing for me. It was kind of hard at some point to keep in my hand. Kept sliding around, and there was just certain things I just was not able to do with a Fender Medium pick. So I didn't go to Fender Heavy because it was still the same kind of pick. It would still kind of be hard to stay in the hand. And when I borrow picks from people and they give me that same kind of, what is that, like a celluloid pick, I guess it would be, I have a hard time with those. So what I ended up getting at some point was these greenies. This is the Tortex 88.88 millimeter, and it used this for a long time. The cool thing about these picks is that at one point, and actually they still do a little bit, they had a curve built into them. So this one kind of curves like this. And then if you go like this, then the pick kind of curves like that. So you kind of had a curve in the pick that kind of fit the way you wanted to hold it in your hand. And I used this for a long time when I was using like 10s, when I was using 10 gauge strings, because it worked pretty well for those. And actually these are like 11s, 12s? These are 11s. And depending on what I'm playing, I still pick these up because I like the way it sounds. I like the way it feels. The thing about these is that it's kind of like buying a car where you can feel the road. This pick lets me feel the strings. It lets me feel how I'm hitting the strings. All of that stuff kind of comes through in my playing when I use this pick. I can dig in. Let me turn this down and kind of dig into the strings and kind of hear. I don't know if you can hear that or not, just the natural unamped guitar thing. The problem with this pick is that with the heavier gauge string, it's harder to move across the string. So again, I think these are 11s. And so this kind of pick, because it's not a light pick, it's not like the heaviest pick they have, but it's heavy enough where it's going to be difficult to move across that string in a manner that I would want. So this doesn't always work. The next pick that I use is the little black stiffy. This is a Dunlop Jazz 3. The first time I heard about anyone using the Jazz 3, I think, was either Steve Lukather or it was Michelangelo Bettiu. Since hearing of those two, a lot of people use these. John Petrucci uses them. He actually has his own pick, which I think is might be a little bit bigger than than the Black Stiffy, the Jazz 3. Eric Johnson uses the red version of these, which is a softer pick. And he uses the old Reds, which had a sound all to their own itself. And I think those old Reds, I think, is now his signature pick. The thing that I don't like about this is that it's a pretty small pick. You have to pretty much hold it the right way and use it the right way to get a good sound out of it. I've played with these before where I was hitting the strings. It felt okay, but what was coming out sound wise was not really anything usable. It just sounded too thin. So you have to really know how to hold these and use them. The cool thing about them though is that the tip is really sharp. So with a sharp tip, or even on a lighter or a heavier gauge string, you can get a pretty good percussive attack on the string. And it will also allow you to play faster. If you have a sharper tip, you can probably play faster because there's less drag on the string. There's less friction in the string. The green ones are great, but there's some friction on that. The tip, being not so pointy, doesn't lend itself to being really fast. So that's why I like these, because it lets me do all that. The articulation I can get out of this pick is really cool. So that's pick number 2, the Jazz 3. The pick that you'll probably find me using least often, I don't have one with me, but Cool. Cool makes a really cool pick that has a rubber grip to it, which is really nice. I use the thins when I want to strum on guitar, on acoustic guitar. It's got a really good sound to it. It's kind of washy, I guess. The pick that you'll find me using most often is going to be one of these. There's 3 flavors of these picks, really. This is a Deva. I forget what these are called, control grips or something like that. If you can tell, it's got a sleeve right there, which allows you to grip the pick. And the tip on these is actually somewhat pointed. It's not going to be the sharpest pointy in the world, but it's a pretty decent point on there. The cool thing about these picks is that if you hold them towards the back, they feel like a light pick, and they react like a light gauge pick. If you hold them more towards the bottom, they stiffen up like a heavy pick. And of course, you can go in the middle there and get different pick gauges, thicknesses out of this one thing. There's 3 little flex points in the middle. You probably can't see it too well, but this pick has a fair amount of flex to it. But again, the closer that you hold the pick towards the tip of the pick, a lot of that flex goes away. So I like this because I can hold on to it because of the grip on there. I like it because it's big enough, and I like it because of the tip. So I can still get a lot of the things I like from both of the picks with one pick. The attack and the percussiveness is not similar to the Jazz 3, but it's close enough. So that's the other pick that I like, and that's why I like the pick. But having said that, there's a lot of great picks out there. I think I've tried a lot of other picks. Here's my pick. Oh, wait a minute. Here's my pick 10. If you ever want to know what to put your picks in, get one of these little small Altoid things. Use all the Altoids, and then stick your picks in them. Let's see what I have in here. All right. I haven't talked about this yet. So we'll talk about that next. Oh, I haven't talked about this. I haven't talked about that. Wow, there's actually enough in here that I haven't talked about. Oh, I haven't talked about this. Look at these, pretty maids all in a row. What else do I got in here? Oh, that's kind of like almost the same as that. Alright, so I can't find my cool pick. But some of the other picks that I have here in my Altoid pick. I bought one of these when I had a gig up in Shippensburg. This is a V pick. This is the Euro 2. So the thing about the V pick is I guess they're made out of this, I don't know what they're made out of. But it's got that kind of edge to it. It's got holes in the center. So that you can kind of get a decent grip out of this. I started using this during the gig, and I didn't really like it, so I switched quickly back to one of my other picks. The thing that's nice about this pick is that there really isn't a lot of drag along the strings. It's not going to slow you down as a lot. Don't like it. Not a big fan of this pick. Oh, I should give my chat. Is anyone chatting with me? One thing about this system is I don't know who's with me, so if you're with me, say hi. Now I can see you. Can't see you, but I can see if you're typing something. Ask me a question, by the way, if you need. So again, this pick doesn't have a lot of drag, but it doesn't sound bad. It's not a bad sounding pick. Something though when I used this led me to believe that I didn't like it, so I didn't. I kind of put it down and just grabbed another pick. Here's one that I tried. This is a pretty thick one. This is a Jim Dunlop pick as well. This is a pretty thick pick though. I don't know if you can tell on this how thick this is. It doesn't really say on the thing. It just says 208. JD 208 USA. Is that 2 millimeter? Maybe it is. Maybe it's a 2 millimeter pick. It's a pretty heavy pick though. Not a lot of give. Doesn't glide very well, so I don't use these. I've tried this for a while. This is the Dunlop Gator. This is a 0.71 millimeter. It's shaped similar to the greenies that I use. It's a 73 millimeter. I think the Gator grip picks though have a little bit of to it, so it doesn't slip out of your hand as much. It's an okay pick. Feels a little weird though. Like if I wanted to use a pick like this, I'd probably just go with green. So, I don't know if I'll use that again. I wanted to bring this one out because this is, I showed my other Deva pick. They make different flavors of this. So this is what is this? Tortex. So this is actually made out of Tortex material, which is similar to the greenies. But the material sounds maybe a little bit different. The yellow pick that I showed you earlier is nylon tip. And then they also have a gel tip. I don't have the gels with me. This is the closest. This is a gel, I think. But this is also kind of their version of a jazz pick. So this is kind of small, sharp edge with the grip, with the jazz material. The thing I didn't like about this is that the pick is really aggressive on this. The tip, is really aggressive, as opposed to the Jazz 3. So I'm going to put both of those up. You can kind of see the tip on these. You might be able to see. They look almost identical, but the Jazz 3-pick is a little bit more rounded on the tip side, so it actually glides over the pick a little bit more. This one, this little version of the Jazz, is really sharp. So if you're looking for a Jazz pick with grip, this isn't bad. You would just have to get used to it. The only other pick that I have in my case is one of these. Look at that. But you can't tell what that is. I can't either. And apparently what this is like a gift card. So someone I knew had a gift card, I guess a little hole puncher, where they could just take gift cards and chop them up into picks. It's got a real rough edge on one side, I guess, where it got poked through, or not from, maybe poked from, I don't know. Like the rough edge is over here on this side, so it made it seem like maybe it was pushed through that way. I don't think I've ever played this with this pick, so let's see what happens. In a pinch, it'll kind of give you what you need. If not in a pinch, use something else. But if you got nothing else, here's the thing, really, isn't it? If you got nothing else, you got nothing else. It's not great. Even if I went with one of these other picks that I really don't like, it's probably more usable than that. So I'm going to go with this thing. Like that. But it's better than it. See, I don't think that. Let me go to one of these that I do like. It feels better. They'll fight for you. So, those are my picks. People, yesterday my rig wasn't working right, and I wasn't sure why. I thought it was a bad cable, but today it seems to be working now. I'm really high, aren't I? I just noticed that. Let me fix that for you, peoples. Bring you down. Go down. Oh, look at that. A little better. All right. So anyway, I can see if you're asking me questions here, and I can see them here. So if you have questions, please ask. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already, find me on the Facebook, Planet Solanki. You're watching this somewhere. So go to the Planet Solanki Facebook page, like that. Then go to the YouTube. Look for Planet Solanki on YouTube. Should be links from here to there, from there to here. So wherever you're seeing me, find me at the other spot. Like it, share me. All sorts of things to learn. I'm going to noodle for a bit. Let me get my... Let's go, yeah. I love that. Just that alone. This guitar, this rig. I like how that dies out. I thought I was hearing some noise here for a while. And I am. I have my wood candle burning in the background. And it's going clickety, 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 clickety. Clickety, clickety, clickety. All right. If anyone has any questions, please ask. I'm here to ask. Answer. Yeah. Ask. I'm here to answer. That's a big chord. That is a big E chord. I'll do it in E sus2 chord. That's a lot of thickness coming through those tubes, man. Can I tell you how thick those tubes down? Minor third, minor third, minor third, minor third, minor third. It's always a good idea to know your intervals. Know your intervals, people. Somebody sent me something from somewhere. I'm going to swipe on here. Thank you, Roy. And thank you, Kenny. It's just a phenomenal sound. I can't get over how good that sounds. And I'll be the first to tell you that tone comes from your hands and the way that you play. But that, I don't think that has anything to do with me. It has everything to do with the way that that thing is set up and sounding. And the guitar, this guitar is fantastic. My tune. Get some middle pickup action in here, peoples. Check that out. That's that voice. And that sweetness there is this middle pickup. It's an OBL, original Bill Lawrence pickup. Probably original design by OBL, by Bill Lawrence. And at some point, the name got licensed to Gibson or Epiphone so that one of those companies can use the name OBL. So I don't know if this is a real Bill Lawrence design pickup or not, but I love this pickup. This combination here is really good. I like it. I also like the position here, which is this single coil. I think that's single coil. So it kind of gets into like a little strap mode. I can also flip the switch there to give me the other strap mode. Whatever it is. Anyway, that's cool sound. I cannot get over that. That alone is worth the price of admission. So I purchased Bias Amp, which allows me to take that signal that I just played and model it over into digital format. So I may be doing that here soon. All right, I'm going to noodle for a little bit more. I'm going to call it a night. If I get sign in here. I really didn't want to do that. Oh well. All right, everyone. Good night. Hopefully you have learned something about picks, or have learned something about which picks I like and why I like them. So if you found some sort of pick that you saw in here that you didn't know about, go check them out. You might like them. As a recap, this is the one I normally use, the Deva Control Grip, I think is what they're called. I use that in the Tortex and the nylon and the gel pick. The other one that I like is going to be the Greenie Dunlop Tortex 0.88, and I also like the Jim Dunlop Jazz 3. That's a grand pick also. So, try the new pick. You might like them. Or, you know what? If you're tired of picks, Use your fingers. All right. Love you all. Bye bye.